And we're talking with Jimmy Stewart. Do you still go out and walk your dogs all the time? In the morning?
No, in the evening.
Yeah. Now, your dog you have now is named Baron, right?
No, Baron.
Baron, yeah.
And we had two. One we lost because of sickness. So Gloria walks Baron because he doesn't care for me.
What do you mean he doesn't care for you?
Well, he doesn't understand me holding the leash and going on. So I go along just for the walk.
Yeah. Could it be you're talking a little slowly to the dog? But maybe he doesn't quite... You know, by the time you say, come here, the dog is gone.
You know, I never thought of that. I'll ask him about it.
Ask him. He may be confused. Now, the poem you're going to do for us tonight from the book is one you did here on the show about a dog you had some years ago called Bo, right? The day after you did that poem on the air, I think for the next 3 or 4 days in our offices in the Tonight Show, the phone did not stop ringing. Everybody in the country wanted a copy of that poem. And I understand you're going to do that one from the book tonight, right?
No. Yeah.
Are you going to want to use the book, or do you know what?
Well, where are my specs? I may. Let's see. Let's see. He never came to me when I would call, unless I had a tennis ball, or he felt like it. But mostly he didn't come at all. When he was young, he never learned to heel or sit or stay. He did things his way. Discipline was not his bag. But when you were with him, things sure didn't drag. Didn't drag.
Yeah.
He'd dig up a rose bush just to spite me, and when I'd grab him, he'd turn and bite me. He bit lots of folks from day to day. The delivery boy was his favorite prey. The gas man wouldn't read our meter. He said we had a true man-eater. And he set the house on fire, but the story's long to tell. Suffice to say that he survived and the house survived as well. And on evening walks, Gloria took him, and they were always first out the door. The old one, the other dog, and me. We brought up the rear because our bones were sore. And he would charge up the street with Gloria hanging on. What a beautiful pair they were. And if it was still late and the tourists were out, they created a bit of a stir. But every once in a while, he'd stop in his tracks and, with a frown on his face, look around. It was just to make sure that the old one was there to follow him where he was bound. We're early to bedders in our house. I guess I'm the first to retire. And when I get up and cross the room, he looks up at me and gets up from his place by the fire. He knew where the tennis balls were upstairs, and I'd give him one for a while. He'd nudge it under the bed with his nose, and I'd dig it out with a smile. But before very long, he tired the ball and was asleep in the corner in no time at all. And there were nights when I'd feel him climb upon our bed and lie between us, and I'd pat his head. And there were nights when I'd feel this stare, and I'd wake up and he'd be sitting there, and I'd reach out my hand to stroke his hair, and sometimes I'd feel him sigh, and I think I know the reason why. he'd wake up at night and he would have this fear of the dark, of life, of anything. And he'd be glad to have me near. And now he's dead. And there are nights when I think I feel him climb upon our bed and lie between us, and I pat his head. And there are nights when I think I feel him stare, and I reach out my hand to stroke his hair, but he's not there. So, how I wish that wasn't so. I'll always love a dog named Bo.
That's nice. I'm glad you did that again. Now, that's one. It's a charming book. It is a. Thank you, Jim. I'm glad you did that. That is a charming book. It's called Jimmy Stewart and His Poems. By who else? Jimmy Stewart. I thank you for coming again tonight. It's always a great pleasure.
Well, it's wonderful, and thank you again, Johnny.
Oh.
Yes, you started this with me and gave me the chance.
Well, you can just send me some of the royalties. He knows how to read lines, doesn't he?
Oh.
Huh? Wow. Wow. All right, we're gonna. Anything happening? Oh, all righty. What? Oh, yes. Scared me there. I thought the snake was loose already. Some creature is loose here. We'll take a break, and Jim Fowler will be out.
Yes.